All right, good Monday evening, everyone. A special edition of Weather for Weather Geeks this evening. Usually in this video, we spend a fair amount of time looking at the medium and longer range. We're not going to do that tonight because we've got a big ticket item coming in the next 24 hours with our first significant or high-impact snow event of the season. Now, this is not going to be a huge snowstorm. We've never been saying that. But, again, it's coming at a bad time of the day, and, it's enough to shovel. And we haven't had to deal with this yet this winter, so it's a bigger ticket item than it normally would be. If this were February of last year, we'd say, ho-hum, a few inches. But, this winter, of course, has been a little bit different. All right, as I'm recording this at a little after 7 p.m., here's what the radar looked like at that time, with a little snow sneaking into northwest Ohio, the heavier snow out towards Chicago, and I expect the radar to continue to blossom over the next few hours. The snow will increase in coverage as this clipper gathers some moisture, gathers some strength, and starts to head our way. The entire state of Ohio really under a winter weather advisory. In the purple, covering the Buckeye State, much of Indiana, much of southern Michigan. It's actually a winter storm warning up in western Michigan. So we take a look at our viewing area. If you follow me on social media, I've mentioned several times over the last couple of years that our viewing area is split between National Weather Service offices. The Cleveland office covers Mahoning and Trumbull County. The Pittsburgh office covers Columbiana, Lawrence, and Mercer counties. The reason why I mention this is there's a different end time to the winter weather advisory tomorrow, depending on where you live, because of those Weather Service office differences. The Cleveland office ends theirs at noon tomorrow. The Pittsburgh office ends theirs at 7 p.m. Doesn't really matter. This is nuanced inside baseball stuff in the weather enterprise. What you need to know is that the impacts tomorrow will be significant, especially during the first half of the day. Don't worry about exactly what time the winter weather advisory does expire. Here's a look at Futurecast, high-resolution, rapid refresh model with the snow color palette on here. I do think that initially we're going to see some radar returns that are just virga, in other words, snow not reaching the ground. That'll be around 11 or 12. But the more significant, more impressive or legitimate snow begins on average between 1 and 2 a.m., I think, when most of us are snoring away, and conditions will deteriorate overnight pretty rapidly. This snow will have no trouble sticking. It's well below freezing. It's nighttime hours. At first, I think the nature of the snow is going to be pretty light and fluffy, kind of a high ratio snow, if you will. In other words, the liquid to snow ratio might be as high as 15 or even 20 to 1 instead of the usual 10 to 1 when the snow begins. I think those ratios will lower as we get deeper into the morning. The snow gets a little bit wetter by the end of tomorrow morning. But nonetheless, here's generally what the radar should look like wee hours of the morning, and then when most people are getting up and around tomorrow morning, it'll still be snowing. And I'll tell you, on the back edge of this band of steady snow, there could be some hefty squalls. This is kind of a classic squall presentation on the future radar here, where you see these little green kind of slices. There might be a blinding squall to deal with tomorrow morning, right around mid-morning, maybe 8:30, 9:30, 10 o'clock. That might be the worst part of the whole day. That might be when the hardest snow of the whole day falls for a relatively brief time, right around the middle of the morning tomorrow. Notice as we stop this animation at 9 a.m., there is a nice lull working into northwest Ohio, and I think that will work in here tomorrow afternoon. So here's that was the high-resolution rapid refresh model, we call it. Here's the RPM model. Again, just a little inside baseball for you. Here's that snow squall pushing through the valley right around 9 a.m. And, there could be some decent snow rates in here. Worst case scenario, this is the kind of blinding snow squall that reduces the visibility down to a quarter of a mile. It'll be quick hitting, though. It'll move through fairly rapidly. And notice what happens after it leaves. The snow gives us a break, but temperatures start falling. Our high tomorrow will be in the morning. So we get into the afternoon, might even be some peaks of sun. And again, a relative lull in the action for a good chunk of the afternoon tomorrow. It could be a flurry or a snow shower in spots, but I don't think it does much in the afternoon as compared to the morning. And then our attention will start turning towards the north and towards lake effect, which I'll talk about more in just a second. As far as the computer modeling goes here, now these snow amounts on the models are based on a strictly 10 to 1 liquid to snow ratio. And as I mentioned, that ratio is going to be higher, particularly in the morning. So I think that these amounts are generally a little underdone because it has the ratio a little too high. But that said, I think there's a good chance by daybreak tomorrow, right around 7:30 or so, a lot of us have already gotten an inch and a half worth of snow. Roads will be, pretty treacherous, even though, again, this is not going to be a huge accumulation. The snow continues to accumulate throughout the day, and by tomorrow evening, The modeling here kind of has a consensus of around 2 inches, but I think it's underdone because of the ratio issue. I think by the end of the daylight hours tomorrow and into tomorrow evening, some of us will have picked up 2.5, 3 inches worth of snow, with a little more to come tomorrow night with the lake effect. Now here's a look at the forecast for tonight and tomorrow. This is with the Clipper. This doesn't count the lake effect, just the Alberta Clipper. I think 1 to 2 inches, very likely throughout our viewing area. Some people might not see much more than that, especially down in southern Columbiana, but I think even in southern Columbiana, an inch or two real likely. The most likely accumulation for the most backyards in our viewing area is about 3. Some are going to do a little better than that, some won't quite get 3, but as an average, the most likely accumulation, about 3. And again, some places might even get a little bit more, depending on what happens with that potential squall during the middle of the morning. That's with the Alberta Clipper. Now tomorrow evening, we're going to be turning our attention to lake effect. The what we call synoptic snow is gone. The lake effect then starts firing up tomorrow evening as the cold, another shot of Arctic air goes over the very warm, comparatively speaking, Great Lakes. And this band of lake effect snow is situated probably north of Interstate 80, right around 7 or 8. But it's going to drift south and maybe impact some parts of Mahoning County, parts of Lawrence County perhaps. Not too concerned about much lake effect south of Route 224, even though there could be some stragglers. But, you know, from 224 on north, we can get some bonus accumulations from the lake effect tomorrow evening through tomorrow night. And notice, again, most of this situated from Youngstown on north tomorrow night, and then things will kind of wind down Wednesday morning. As far as the additional snow with the lake effect, the highest amounts, as usual in lake effect, will be in the primary snow belts. Lake County, northern Geauga, a lot of Ashtabula, heading over towards Crawford and Erie County, PA, and then the bullseye, southwest New York, where they've already had a couple of feet of snow, just what they need. Now, in our viewing area, I've kind of, drawn the 1 to 3 line down to about Route 224. Now, if you live in Canfield, Boardman, Poland, Austintown, you might only get another inch. 1 to 3 doesn't mean 3. It could be 1. But, again, this is with the lake effect tomorrow night. A general 1 to 3 additional inches from 224 on north. Your best chance of seeing 3, 4, maybe even 5 or 6 inches of additional snow will be in the far northern part of our viewing area, Mespa over to Greenville. That's generally kind of what we expect with the lake effect tomorrow night. All right, let me back this graphic up. Here's the Futurecast wind gust product. Winds are really going to ramp up tomorrow, especially midday and afternoon. Even as early as 8 a.m., we could see some gusts over 30. I think we got a shot at 40-mile-per-hour gusts midday and afternoon. And even when it's not snowing, the sun could be out. But you're going to see reduced visibilities in open areas. If you're on a stretch of highway or roads that are right by an open field, those open areas, the snow can blow right back onto the road and cause it to be slick, even though it's not actually snowing. So blowing snow, a concern for the midday and the afternoon tomorrow. And these winds are going to continue to howl right through tomorrow night. Ugly, ugly tomorrow night into Wednesday morning as far as the temperatures and wind chills. Current temperatures in the mid-teens back here at 7 o'clock in the evening. Here's the next shot of Arctic air up in Canada, teens below 0. That's what's going to follow the Clipper coming south over the next couple of days. Wind chills by tomorrow afternoon, down in the single digits, heading below 0 in most of the area, I should say, tomorrow night. And Wednesday morning, -8 to -10 as far as wind chills go. That's not going to be fun. I get a lot of questions in these winter weather scenarios about school closings and delays. And I had a little message on social media earlier. We're no experts when it comes to this. They don't consult us. This is totally up to individual school districts. We have no insight into that. The only thing harder than predicting the weather sometimes is predicting what school district decisions are going to be made. I will say that with the snow coming in tonight, 1, 2 a.m., snowing pretty good all night, it seems likely to me anyway, that there'll be some school adjustments tomorrow morning. 2-hour delays wouldn't make any sense because it's only going to get worse in the morning. So, there's probably going to be some cancellations. Wednesday morning, we could have some slick roads thanks to the overnight lake effect, and the wind chills are going to be kind of in that borderline area where, some districts might decide to have at least a 2-hour delay. So I appreciate you kind of looking to me for answers, but I don't always have them when it comes to school adjustments. You can sign up for text alerts, sign up which school districts you'd like to be alerted for, WFMJ.com to get those alerts on your cell phone whenever schools have delays or cancellations. All right, coming up on 10 minutes, I'll wrap this up. Thanks for watching this special Monday Night Weather for Weather Geeks. Much more on social media throughout the evening. Full updates with radars and everything coming up tonight on 21 News and 11. And WFMJ Today starts a half hour early tomorrow morning at 4:30, so you can get an early jump on tomorrow's snow.